Senator Warner.
You're down to the last one. Let me thank both of you for the meetings that we had, and I enjoyed our conversations with both of you. I do hope, Dr. Shelton, in terms of our conversation about our common ties to Virginia and where we both live, and the fact that you were nominated from Virginia to the European Bank of Reconstruction, that you're not changing that status as well in terms of how the administration has put you forward this time. I know we talked about your Wall Street Journal editorial, and I went back and read it because, again, I think you put forward some views I don't necessarily agree with, but you put forward them clearly. And the one thing you keep coming back to is Humphrey Hawkins, and and Senator Tillis raised it as well. The thing you did at least mention in the article, but I don't think you've mentioned in your commentary to most of the questions, at least that I've heard, is that Humphrey Hawkins expired in 2020.
That's true.
It's no longer the law of the land. I'm not sure that's still a fair notion, and I was going to also raise the questions Senator Van Hollen raised as someone. Again, we talked about this issue in my office. I feel very strongly around debt and deficit. And again, let me be clear, I don't think either political party has much legitimacy on the issue anymore. But I do think there is very much a change in consistency in your view under what was happening under Obama, where a group of us in both parties tried to bring down the debt and deficit to the chagrin of folks on both sides of the aisle, that suddenly got blessed under President Trump. And I know you've already addressed it, but it is of real concern to me. I don't doubt your integrity, but I question your consistency on this. I want to go to another piece. In your writings, you said that it would be appropriate and constructive for the Fed to consider international monetary stability and interest rate decisions in an era of worldwide currency exchange. The question I feel, and I agree with many in both parties against currency manipulation is a bad thing, but I don't think currency manipulation falls within the gambit of the Fed's responsibility. Do you want to speak to that?
It doesn't fall under the Fed's responsibility. Any other prior monetary arrangement had to be approved by Congress. I'm just pointing out that in that Humphrey Hawkins legislation, an improved trade balance and improved global competitiveness are among the 6 objectives that are referred to as being in the national interest, where it calls for more coordination. The legislation does. I do want to point out that in the article that you were referring to, I specifically say that Humphrey Hawkins expired in the year 2000.
No, I know you did. I wish, but I feel like in many of the conversation that you've had in some of your answers, you've cited that without that full explanation. And I feel pretty strongly on your change on the debt and deficit issue. I have concerns about the Fed in terms of playing a role in currency manipulation. I think it's outside its gambit. And I want to also reference one of my colleagues' points. I don't fully agree that every president and every member of Congress is always trying to overly influence the Fed. And I think the Fed independence, I think, Dr. Waller, your comments about President Nixon and Chairman Burns was a dead-on accurate one. And I think it had enormous blowback. And I guess one of the challenges that I'm grappling with Dr. Shelton, with your nomination is, I think you have had a series of views that go beyond the dual mandate. I commend you, frankly, for some of the, creative sets of views you have, and some I might agree with, some I would disagree with. The challenge right now that I think is unprecedented is we have a president that goes so far beyond the norms of trying to, outduly influence all independent parts of our government, the Fed's independence being something that we generally share complete commonality with. And when your views in some of your writings, my takeaway is, frankly, would reinforce that effort to kind of more politically manipulate the Fed or go beyond the dual mandate, and with this level of influence that President Trump is willing to influence on every action, and I think, again, unprecedented in terms of his attacks on Chairman Powell, it raises grave concerns. But I very much appreciate you both being willing to nominate, and I appreciate both of our conversations. And again, Dr. Shelton, I did enjoy our conversation yesterday, but
I did too.
Appreciate the chance to raise those final views. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And